I've heard you really talk about the chemicals that people put on their lawns and in their gardens as poisons.
Well, they are.
Tell me about that. Not everyone likes to think
Well,
of that.
there are some products that will kill the weeds and feed the lawn at the same time. Well, one of them, the active ingredients in there, in areas where it's been found in California, and it's been found in the Austin creeks and streams and Barton Springs too, has caused hermaphroditing in the frogs. Big time. They didn't find one, they didn't find two, they found many of them, more and more. And each time the same material that someone puts on their yard to control weeds is found in the water where this problem with the frogs is.
And what chemical are you referring to there?
Well,
what's in weed and feed?
Atrazine.
Atrazine.
Yeah, the active ingredient. It's probably in many products. That seems to be the one that's causing all this. Research in California showed that it was, and so we think so too. And the city of Austin has asked people not to use that kind of product because it is in the creeks and streams around here.
So
it's just that the lawyers from those other companies come in and threaten to sue you till you're broke. And so the city backs off instead of making a rule that says this stuff is too toxic for our environment.
So what about the alternatives? I mean, a lot of people, I think there's a feeling that, oh, the organic way is one way, but it's not the most effective or best way.
It is one of the fastest growing movements in the country that I know about. I'm invited to speak all over the country and talk about what we know about organics and how it works. I have a little store, and I've been a retailer for many years, well over 20 years now, of organic gardening products. I would have been shut 20 years ago if these things didn't work. They do work. And the business has grown and grown. People are concerned about exposing their children to these things. If they see that happening to the frogs, what's the next step between the frog and the young child and their grandchildren?
The chemicals, you mean?
The chemical exposure. So that alone is driving people to the store. Our natural weed control would be corn gluten. It's a weed and feed, a natural one. It's 9% nitrogen and suppresses weed seed germination.
So
one of the problems is corn prices are going up so high that this has now pushed it out of the easy-to-use range for everybody because it's begun to be expensive. But if you've got people in the house with cancer or other immune system problems, then it's not that expensive. Yeah.
And it does work. And does organic?
It's a registered product on a national level. Dr. Nick Christians developed this product. I think he was at Indiana State. Many of the things in the world of organics weren't invented in my backyard. They were university tested for their historical use, like fish emulsion, for example. Seaweed has a long history of use, centuries, and yet people don't understand it very well. Clemson University, I think it was, did the research on it, showed it was full of trace minerals, that it supported root growth, that it would help suppress powdery mildew. These are the things. What it is about organics is we speak a different language than they do at the box stores. That's all. But I'm not losing customers by the truckload. We're getting them by the truckload because they almost mislead you with that language, i.e. it's safe to use.
Well, I think
sometimes it's not.
I think now they're finding that Roundup, which was considered to be by a lot of people a sort of safer way to kill things, is actually they're having problems in the crop level usage of it. They're growing super weeds.
Well,
with,
yes,
in the soil.
that and the genetically modified plants that are Roundup resistant. The pollen is going out into other similar plants, making the weeds Roundup resistant. As a result, you have to build a stronger herbicide. Well, this little trail's not going to end. Yeah. It only gets worse. So we better put the brakes on right now before the planet is having enough problems. But before we go and pollute all of the water and the ground and we can't farm somewhere because the soil is dead, and really get into some big problems, which we are anyway, then we better re-examine the soil-building, sustainable style of farming and gardening that organics offers. They always say you can't feed the world that way, but that's just not true. They just haven't tried, you know. And we can go back to a more sustainable life, recycling things from our own community. So organics is there. They just have to ask the right questions. They just have to read a little bit. Don't go stand at the box store because they're going to take you down Death Valley to get some product down there. You don't need to go there. You can go to a nice organic gardening center. There's so many natural things that, like I said earlier, I'd be out of business if these things didn't work. But they work very well. And once you have well-adapted plants, and once you've built the soil to a nice, healthy state, you don't even need the insecticides. The plants are not in distress. It's the job of the insect to get rid of the weaker species. So you got to make sure you don't have the weaker species. Aphids aren't just going to attack you for no reason. It's their job to get rid of you. So by getting healthy, it's like people. Get healthy again, exercise again, eat right again. You'll be resistant to many diseases that come along. Hang out at the hamburger stand, drink a lot of Coca-Colas, watch a lot of TV, then you're going to have some problems.